So anyway, Brock Purdy, is he a long-term NFL quarterback,
Yes.
or will he be out of the starter's chair by 2024?
I think he's a long-term NFL quarterback. Not because he's anything spectacular, but because I think all it takes is like base confidence to operate the Shanahan scheme effectively. So I think that as long as Brock Purdy stays healthy, which is a pretty fair question. It seems like quarterbacks drop like flies in that scheme. But I think if he stays healthy, whether or not he's good, he's playing for the best play caller in the world, throwing to Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey. And I think he's going to be able to just continually churn out passable results. And I don't think that he'll give them a reason to switch. Like, he's cheap. He's going to put up good results. He'll have success. I think they'll just ride him as long as it keeps working.
Okay, so I just want to take a moment and explain to the masses, the millions and millions of people around the world watching this or listening to the show, or watching, could be either, and just quickly, very, very quickly, no ill intent whatsoever. But so Brock Purdy, he was pretty good as a rookie. He had 8.1 yards per attempt. That's really quite good. He had 13 passing touchdowns in 6 starts. That's outstanding. Dude's a stud.
Yeah, he's the best.
That's incredible. Over 2 passing touchdowns per game.
Truly,
and here's what's really fascinating about all that is that Nick Mullins in this system once passed for 8.3 over an 8-game stretch. 8.3 yards per attempt. That's 2.1s. More than Brock Purdy. And he passed for 13 touchdowns in 8 games. That's almost 2 touchdowns per game. And then the next time he got to play football for the San Francisco 49ers, when they actually had better players in 2020, he passed for 7.5 yards per attempt, which is a dramatic decrease, and only actually 12 touchdowns in 10 games. His touchdown rate just fell off a cliff. And he only scored 12.1 fantasy points per game. Because you know what he doesn't do? He doesn't rush the football. And do you know how many yards per game Brock Purdy rushed for last season?
Not a lot. Very few.
It's near 0, 1.4. So, you're really, really, really relying on some excellent touchdown progression to keep Brock Purdy in the fantasy chair. And then also, I'm
not predicting him to be a fantasy stat. I think he'll be more or less what Jimmy Garoppolo's been the last few years, which is a mid to low end QB2.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You have moved him ahead of one Russell Wilson and Geno Smith in Dynasty Fantasy Football, have you not? And yet you are not projecting him to be a fantasy contributor?
Well, I'm predicting to be a fantasy contributor. I think he's going to be a QB2, which in Superflex leagues is certainly a contributor.
What do you expect?
I think he'll be in the 16 to 17 points per game range. He's going to be the pilot.
He's going to be Daniel Jones.
A very effective vehicle. Well, Daniel Jones was up over 18 last year.
One outlier season with 700 rushing yards.
Right. I think Brock Purdy. I don't really have any confidence in Brock Purdy's talent. If we want to have a referendum on is Brock Purdy good outside of this environment, I think he's probably not. But at least for the time being, he only has to be good in this environment. So,
that was the same argument for Nick Mullins, though, when Nick Mullins went back into the offense and then was terrible.
Nick Mullins was never an intentional starter. Nick Mullins came in as the backup. He tore his elbow. He comes back as a backup, and he gets another chance to start in a pinch. Brock Purdy is the intentional starter for the San Francisco 49ers. And I think that matters. I mean, Nick Mullins was still...
That matters for him getting on the field. That doesn't matter for him being good.
I mean, the team that Nick Mullins was with, especially his second stint, was nowhere near as good as this 49ers team. That team with Nick Mullins was... Deebo Samuel was out. There was no Christian McCaffrey. I think George Kittle might have been playing. That was the year of Brandon Ayuk's rookie year when he was averaging 15 points per game and everybody was it's fraudulent because all the other players are injured. That was that 49ers. This 49ers is a fine-tuned machine. I don't think anyone
in 2018 when Nick Mullins was awesome.
Like nobody good.
But he was awesome then.
Yeah, but his bad season was with like I think anybody can get hot. Absolutely.
Like
I
Brock
think
Purdy,
we've seen
for example.
sure, but we have seen over time. Like, does anyone think Jimmy Garoppolo is good? Because Jimmy Garoppolo posted sustainably good results.
A lot of
in the
people thought
49ers
Jimmy
team.
Garoppolo was. He was the QB4 overall in Dynasty Fantasy Football at one point.
Right, but they don't think he's good now, right? Devontae
No,
Adams
they
would
don't.
not be a second round pick if people thought Jimmy Garoppolo was good.
No, Jimmy Garoppolo is not good.
So, right, okay, yeah, so you agree. So Jimmy Garoppolo is not good. But Jimmy Garoppolo like posted sustainably strong results. I mean, there was a fluctuation effect. Like when the 49ers had worse weapons, when they had a worse defense, he was mediocre. And when they had a better defense, they had great weapons, then he was awesome in massive air quotes. Awesome as in like he had great EPA and CPOE and fancy stats, but obviously he was still Jimmy Garoppolo under it all. Like if Brock Purdy winds up flaming out in San Francisco and washes the shore somewhere else, I think he's probably worse than Mac Jones. Like I feel pretty confident that he's worse than Mac Jones. But that's not the case. Right now, he is a blessed man who gets the opportunity to pilot the world's most luxurious spacecraft for the next 3 years. And I think that as long as he's in charge of this machine, he's fine. And what if he's good? Like, I think he can be a mid-range quarterback too, with 3 years of job security, while being like sub-starter level. But it's not impossible that he's. I won't even say good, but it's not impossible that he's like a Derek Carr-esque quarterback. Like he was just a rookie, and he posted good results as a rookie. It's probably fraudulent, but maybe it's not super fraudulent. Maybe it's only 30% fraudulent. Maybe he gets better. He probably gets better. He was just a rookie. So what if he is just like Derek Carr for his career, but he gets to be Derek Carr playing his entire career with the San Francisco 49ers? That's fun.
Derek Carr would be like 100th percentile outcome for him. That'd be great.
Right, but he's already tracking towards 100% outcome. He was the last pick of the draft, and he didn't shit himself when he got to play football. Like that's pretty impressive. I mean, I think pretty much anyone can be successful in that scheme, but not literally anyone, right? We saw Josh Johnson try. That didn't go very well. Right? We saw Trey Lance try. That didn't go too well.
He played in a monsoon. What are you talking about?
He played 2 other games as a rookie.
Brock
Purdy came in as a rookie and he lit it up.
At one point, I went ahead and looked at their first, I figured it was 100 passes or something is what Trey Lance had as a rookie. So when I looked at Brock Purdy's first 100 passes, they were the same freaking guy. Brock Purdy was also terrible when he first started.
And yet, QB wins.
Just like, so I found Nick Mullins' vaunted receiving core when he was lighting up the world a la Brock Purdy as a rookie. We have George Kittle.
This is 2018?
2018.
Yes, you would have George Kittle.
You'll never guess how good this
I think I can guess.
Outstanding.
Okay, Dante Pettis was probably involved at this point in time?
He was. He was excellent with 467 yards.
Okay, was Marquise Goodwin still a part of this crew?
He was absolutely with 395 yards. You missed
Richie James part of this mix?
Who?
Richie James.
Oh, yeah, 130 yards for Richie James.
Okay. I'm missing the number 2?
Yeah. Like the number 2 receiving yardage leader.
Is it Pierre Garçon?
It was not. Oh, no, he was on the team, but he wasn't number 2. He had 286 yards, so good for him.
Okay. So, honestly, I'm pretty impressed myself. I've gone 4 for 4 on
this is pretty good
on the 2018 49ers.
I wouldn't have got this many. I might have guessed that former 49ers receivers and got a few of these, but I wouldn't have known they were all on 2018.
Okay, so I guess
you got a big marquee free agent signing just like last year, the year before.
Last year or the year before, a marquee free agent signing.
Yeah, marquee free agent signing. Big deal. Signed in the AFC East.
Oh, okay. Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne, man. 487 yards on this team. Nick Mullins was floated entirely by his receiving core, unlike Brock Purdy.
Oh man, I wish I had gotten Frederick Ward organically. If I could have gotten 5 for 5,
it's embarrassing you missed that one, but nobody's perfect.
Yeah, there we go.
Like, the moral of the story here is that Nick Mullins went out, was very impressive as a rookie. 8.3 or 8.1 yards per attempt, a whole bunch of touchdowns per game. Did exactly what Brock Purdy's doing. A little bit lower PFF grade, if I recall. I don't have that up, but I think it was about 67 versus 73, maybe somewhere thereabouts for Nick Mullins versus Brock Purdy. I don't believe I had ever seen what his, all the stuff the 49ers quarterbacks are usually good at, the CPOE and that EPA and all that stuff. But I would imagine he was good at it too, because I think Garoppolo was pretty good at it back in those days as well. And anyways, and then
I don't recall. I think I've looked into this before, and maybe I'm wrong, but I recall him not being quite as strong. Like, I think he was like sloppy Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, he got all the good stuff, but he was more mistake prone.
Yeah, he wasn't as good as Garoppolo. That's true. But,
I think with Purdy, I would just say it as simple.
If you put Brock Purdy on this team, do you think he does as well as he did last year?
No, I don't think he does as well.
So then Nick Mullins was a better quarterback as a rookie and fell completely off the map. But Brock Purdy will have no issues whatsoever going forward. 3+ year starter, and will bounce back someplace else when they replace him.
He will not bounce back somewhere else.
Oh, I thought you said he was going to bounce somewhere else, and then he's going to be better than Mac Jones.
No, I said literally the opposite. I said if he washes onto another shore, I feel quite confident that Mac Jones is better than him. Like, I think Brock Purdy.
I misunderstood.
I think the entire take on Brock Purdy, is like he is locked into a very particular environment. And so as long as he's locked into this environment, his life is good. If this environment should ever disappear, then I think his life will become very bad. But I don't think that I think that his environment is so good that I think he can just ride this wave for at least another couple of years. I mean, I'm not saying he's a franchise quarterback on your dynasty team, but I think compared to other young quarterbacks who have been mostly bad, or veteran quarterbacks who have very limited value growth, I think betting on the young quarterback who was good is a reasonable opinion to hold.